In today's video, I wanted to tackle in depth about why people are not losing weight on a carnivore diet. I personally have gone through a lot of ups and downs with my weight struggles before going carnivore and during my carnivore journey. And I wanted to bring on my friends Raymond and Richelle to talk about this topic in detail. We're going to discuss our own personal experiences and hurdles, what we've seen in the community, and what we know works every single time. So without further ado, let's get started. Richelle, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Absolutely. I came to Carnivore October 2nd, 2022. I had received a diagnosis that I was completely infertile, my husband also, and we figured we must have missed something somewhere. I came across Kelly Hogan and I heard her story about how she overcame infertility with a carnivore diet, and I thought, I'm all in. I did not expect half of what I received when I went carnivore. Not only was I able to get pregnant and have a healthy full-term pregnancy, but I saw a reduction in my chronic osteoarthritic pain. I saw a reduction in my disordered way of eating. I never thought I would see healing in that area of my life ever. Nobody ever talked to me about that with carnivore. Insomnia went away, depression went away, anxiety went away, ADHD improved, OCD improved, PTSD improved, nervous system regulation started to happen. There were just so many benefits. I'm so grateful to carnivore and you, Bella, and the community. It's just been a life changer for me.
Hi, I'm Raymond. I've been a carnivore for 7 years now. I was diabetic. I had foot neuropathy, high calcium score for my heart, diverticulitis being the worst issue that I have. I had heel spurs, plantar fasciitis, sleep apnea, what a lot of people would consider old age. And the reason I say that is because I see my friends going through it. I went carnivore, the pain started going away after a year and a half, and then I just started thriving from there. I don't see any way back from this.
What did it take to get you to weight loss freedom?
I come from a bodybuilding background, and if you've ever been in a bodybuilding community, you know that vanity is the center focus of bodybuilding. So coming to carnivore and getting permission to start eating, I had no idea how starving I was. I had no idea. It was a journey for sure. When I first came to carnivore, I decided I'm going to join the SBG, the Steak and Butter Gang. I'm going to learn from them what I can and I'm going to apply it. And if I fail, I fail. It's not a failure, it's feedback. And when I talked to Raymond about it, I was like, look, I'm a former bodybuilder. Vanity is a thing. I don't want to gain weight. And he told me, he said, if you're scared to gain weight, then don't prime. And I was like, weighed the pros and cons. And I was like, you know what? Weight gain is not the end of the world. I can always lose weight. I know I can lose weight. I used to drop 40, 50 pounds for a body competition, but I wanted to be healthy doing it. And I wanted to get pregnant. So my why that made me cry was far greater. And it's making me want to cry now. It was far greater than anything else that I could have ever wanted. And so when Raymond said, you have permission to eat as much as you want, I went to town. I put restrictive eating on hold and I just ate and ate and ate and ate. And no surprise, I gained 14 pounds. And I'm really grateful. One of the biggest things that I knew to do, especially from coming from a background of bodybuilding, was to take pictures and take measurements so I could measure my progress outside of the scale. The scale is only one metric, and I had to take pictures and measurements. While I gained 14 pounds, I lost 3 inches off of my waist, an inch and a half off of my hips, and my boobs grew a full size. I have never had boobs in my life, and suddenly I had boobs. And I was like, what is happening? Okay, 14 pounds, and I'm having all this body recomposition. Is this really a big problem for me? Maybe I'm gaining lean muscle mass. Maybe my organs are coming back online and filling back in. Maybe my bones are getting more dense. There were so many things going through my brain. I really had to lean in and trust the process. Was it scary? Yes. Was the body recomposition worth it? 100%. And how I felt? I can't compare. I cannot go back to living my life the way I was living before.
Richelle, I love your story. For me, I was in so much pain. I attributed all of this pain to my diabetes. Back then, I had all of the markers, like I said, I had the big waist. After 33 years old, I could not lose weight to save my life. And I was gaining every single year. When I went low carb, high fat 8 years ago, I saw the water whoosh come out. I lost 10 pounds on the scale that looked like I lost 30 pounds. And that was my biggest aha moment right there. Right now, I still prime once a year. So eating 3 meals a day for 2 weeks. I do the full prime. I want to look good, but I want to feel good. I wasn't really worried about the look good. I was worried about the feel good, but later on, they both started correlating with each other. But I knew the importance of priming because it gave me the nourishment and I could feel that nourishment. So I can't unsee that.
Richelle and Raymond, you both talked about priming. I want to talk a little bit about priming and how it impacted my carnivore journey. I'm going to take this moment to define what priming means for all of the new viewers watching who may not know what priming is just yet. By the way, the creator of priming is right here in the room, Raymond. So correct me if I'm defining it wrong in any way, shape, or form. But for me, priming meant absolutely with all of my intention, 100% all in, I will be nourishing myself. That truly is the essence of priming. You embrace the positives, you let go of the negatives, whatever that may be for you. When I primed, I had to let go of calorie counting. I had to let go of the binging and restricting on carbs and empty calories. I had to let go of killing myself in the gym. And when I primed, I had to let go of the whole mentality that smaller is better, that skinnier is prettier. I can't believe that I allowed myself to think like that. Raymond's specific priming protocol encourages 3 meals a day with 2 snacks if needed, but I needed 5 meals a day for 6 months. So yes, I initially gained weight. I also regained my period. I also started healing my skin for the first time. We can go on, and I think the point that I'm trying to make is I'm so grateful that this priming protocol exists for people who have that fear so loud that they can't do it themselves. And so that's why I begged Raymond and Richelle to come on to this video so that together we can talk about the importance so that you can hear it from them.
When I got into the steak and butter gang, then I could actually help people do it by group, watching their results. And that was amazing. We saw group by group, they'll just come up and just say, hey, this happened, this happened. So it's almost like all of this multiplied. So I've coached many, many people, and it's been different for most, but as an average, I've gathered it down enough to put a calendar and at least one that you can feel, hey, am I really ready for that next stage? So that's what it's all about.
Our famous priming, feasting, and fasting program is taught in the Steak and Butter Gang every single month. I'm going to show off just a few of our member before and after photos. We have literally thousands in there now because members are healing and feeling so good. Priming on the carnivore diet is a 2 to 3 week long period of time where the person prioritizes eating 3 meals every day. Coach Raymond have an entire 90-day plan, tried and tested on thousands of carnivores now. One of the best benefits, of course, is fat loss and body recomposition, and we see it in our members of all ages. Both men and women see their bodies transform, lose fat, lose inflammation, and get stronger. We have live Zoom calls for you to ask questions, get the help and inspiration that you need. And we also teach our weekly priming and fasting classes for anyone who wants to follow the program. You'll also get easy to follow weekly calendars, PDFs, and guides to make sure that you start and continue carnivore in the best way possible. For more details and to directly join our next 30-day carnivore challenge, just go to the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com. You can also open the description box below for clickable links.
I almost wanted to challenge the common mindset about if you eat too much, that you're going to get fat. And I was like, if the carnivore diet, I told myself this, if the carnivore diet was such a perfect diet, I should be able to eat as much as I want. So I did that. What tended to happen is like I couldn't do it after a while. For me, it took about 2 weeks. And I just started noticing I just don't want to eat as much. I actually literally don't even want to think about food. I'm accidentally not eating most of the day. And that's where automatic fasting came in. Once you're fully nourished, you'll automatically go to that next stage, whatever that is. And I love Bella's example because really Bella ate 5 times a day, huge amounts. And her stop wasn't till 6 months later. And she even got into a stent of OMADs. But that's what happens when you fully fill it up. It's going to be different for everybody that I've noticed.
My definition of priming would be replenishing, restoring, healing, refueling. I use the analogy a lot in our SBG community about how it's like going on a road trip with only half a tank or a quarter tank of fuel. Priming is what fills up your tank. When your tank is full, you are able to go so much further than you have ever known. And as someone who was a restrictive binge eater, I knew what it was like to fast when I was hungry. I knew what it was like to fast when I was restricting. I knew what it was like to fast to try and get a certain number on the scale or whatever. It was a very destructive behavior. Carnivore gave me that permission to eat, the permission to nourish, the permission to fuel up my tank. And when I tried fasting, I learned very quickly there's a big difference between fasting when you're nourished and fueled versus fasting when you're depleted and nutrient void. I know there's a lot of controversy about that statement that, are we really nutrient void? Well, I would say so. My body was clearly indicating that by my inability to sleep, my endocrine system being shut down, ADHD, having OCD, depression, anxiety, panic attacks. All of these are my body's way of communicating, of literally screaming at me like, hey, pay attention. I need this. And when I came to carnivore, like I said, I didn't know how hungry I was. I knew how to eat. I could eat 2 boxes of Oreos and a bag of chips, no problem. But that food just depleted me and stripped me further of the nutrients that I needed for my body to function optimally, for my brain to work optimally, for my hormones to be online, for me to gestate a healthy baby to term. All of these things were just not things that I had thought about. And the priming protocol gave me, and I keep saying this, permission. It gave me permission to get my body back to an optimal health, to get my nutrient stores back up, to get my fuel tank full and keep it full. Now, if I decide to fast, it's a much different story. Not that I'm doing a lot of fasting these days because, well, I have a baby and I'm breastfeeding. I did fall ill a few weeks ago, which has been very rare for me since coming to carnivore. I don't know about you guys. It's very rare for me to fall ill. I had a stomach flu. I ended up having to fast for 40 hours and it was a breeze for me. I mean, I couldn't keep anything down, but it was a breeze. I didn't have any hiccups with that fast. Whereas before, when I tried an OMAD, I couldn't even get through the OMAD. Like I had to go back to priming. I think I spent the first year priming because I started priming. I got pregnant. I miscarried due to low progesterone. Then I went back to priming. I got pregnant again. And then I was able to carry to term. And I basically primed the whole time I was pregnant. I just ate when I was hungry. I ate what I wanted to eat when I was hungry. Breastfeeding, the same thing. I've just basically lived in priming and my body loves it. It loves it. It's so happy to be nourished.
I just want you to talk a little bit about what is going on before and after in this photo.
Okay. This photo is something very tender to me because I used to be a person that would constantly flaunt myself online and be like, look at me, look how hard my abs are, look at my six pack. And all of a sudden, I just didn't feel that was appropriate anymore. And when you go through pregnancy and you're breastfeeding, your body changes a lot. And I relate to women when they're like, my body changed so much and I can't look at myself the same. And it's like, because you go from looking a certain way to looking a certain way, back to looking a certain way. And you always remember when you looked your best, you always remember that that's how you looked and you always want to look like that. And it's not always possible. We have to remember that our bodies have just gestated a whole other person. A whole person took all of these, like 4 pounds of minerals out of my body, all of these proteins out of my body. Like it took so much for my body to build this perfect little baby. And I'm so grateful for him. But I also wanted my body to look a certain way. And so I decided after being about 4 months postpartum that I was going to kind of tighten things up a little bit. And I was having some really irritating sensitivities and I wasn't sure what it was. So I had been pretty lenient with my carnivore, meaning I included a ton of dairy. I am known as the dairy fairy in my house. When I was pregnant, I ate so much dairy. I just craved it. And so I gave myself permission to eat it because I understood that there was probably some micronutrient in there that my body and the baby needed. And I'm fine with that. I want to support my body and my baby as best as possible. So I decided, okay, first things first, I'm going to cut eggs out and see if that helps. It didn't help. I said, okay, well, I'm going to leave them out and cut out the other factor, dairy. And I got to the point where I just didn't even want dairy anymore, which is very foreign. I had never experienced that before. I was like, I think I can go without it. And I decided to do a high-fat lion approach. High-fat lion, is great for people with autoimmune. And I do have a little bit of autoimmune stuff, mild autoimmune stuff. And I just thought I would give it a try. And from that picture on the left to the picture on the right, I think I'd lost like 17 inches. I'd lost maybe, I think it was 14 pounds and 17 inches. Like I couldn't believe, but the picture doesn't lie. The picture does not lie. The inflammation that I still had in my body from eating all of the dairy, I guess, finally came out of my system.
Yep.
I I have not been consistent with my workouts. Like I said, I used to train 7 days a week when I got pregnant. I actually got put on restricted weight. I wasn't allowed to do anything over body weight or 20 pounds, which was
Wow.
really hard for me
Wow.
as someone who was competitive with their bodybuilding. And so coming back from that and rebuilding my strength and getting my pelvic floor strong again. And, there were just so many moving parts. And I just really wanted to make sure that I was supporting my body, that I wasn't affecting my ability to breastfeed, because that is one of my top priorities, is making sure that I can nurse my little dude, because I know the benefits. I have read and seen the differences between formula fed and breastfed children. And I will die on that hill. I'm not willing to, sacrifice my breast milk supply for vanity. I'm not.
Yes.
Did my milk supply take a dip? I think it took a small dip because as I got in a deeper ketosis, being on that high fat lion approach. So it was like 80, 20, 90, 10. So 80% of calories to 90% of calories coming from fat and only 10 to 20% coming from protein. I did see a small dip in my milk supply in that my son wanted to nurse way more than usual, but the more he nurses, the more skin to skin, the more milk I produce. So, I mean, it ended up working itself out in a wash. And I know that's not the case for a lot of people. And they think, oh, my milk supply is low and you have to do all this pumping and everything. And it's like, no, supply and demand. For me, it's all about supply and demand. And I never thought I would be able to breastfeed because I didn't have breasts growing up. I had insufficient glandular tissue, and
Wow.
now I'm able to breastfeed, and successfully so. And yeah, I guess the biggest difference is how I see myself. The difference in those pictures is 3 months, and it was just patience. It was persistence. It was eating when I was hungry. I did not restrict. And I mean, when I say I don't restrict, I mean, even on high fat carnivore, I'm still probably eating anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day now. Again, caveat, I am breastfeeding, but I feel amazing. I feel amazing.
I'm working out a lot less right now. I still have the six pack. I'm kind of like Richelle. I do gain muscle easily, but also I do gain fat easily. Back then, that used to be much more. I gain a lot less fat than I do muscle. So it's nice when I prime, I just look more like a heavyweight fighter than I do lean like this, more like a Bruce Lee look. But I can do either at any point in time, because I can also do fasting. Now, just to realize, I was not able to fast in the past at all. So if you think, oh, I just can fast and just do that, I couldn't even fast. I would have normal issues like blood sugar fluctuations, all of that. But because carnivore, it allowed me to get to that point so easily that I was doing it as an enjoyable process. So I would do that and I would look like this, once a year for the past 6 years now. So, I'll go through another reiteration this year when I choose the winter time to start ripping up, and then getting into that in the springtime. And as much as I've done this, I'm always wondering, do I really want to be that ripped? So I start changing my way of thinking because I feel good. I already look good. So what am I really after? So I do want to make sure that I maximize the amount of feel good over the look good.
So it really is just a look of no more inflammation on you is what I kind of wanted you to speak on. And this is what you get when you consistently do carnivore. If you're a new carnivore and you're struggling with sticking to this lifestyle because it's difficult to find snacks, foods on the go, and staples that are affordable for your lifestyle, then I highly recommend checking out Thrive Market. This is my Thrive Market box, and I just want to show you some of the carnivore staples that I love getting. This right here is their Thrive Market beef sticks. If you are a carnivore and you need snacks on the go for your kids, yourself, your partner, you're traveling, road tripping, or you just need easy to travel with snacks for work, this right here is such a great option. It's basically pre-packaged, individually wrapped beef sticks that have zero sugar, zero preservatives, zero nasty ingredients. These are similar to the famous brand Chomps, but even cheaper, and in my opinion, it tastes even better. This right here is a staple in so many carnivore households. Redmond's Real Salt is such a popular salt brand because it is so high quality and clean. I always get mine from Thrive Thrive Market because Thrive Market is basically an online membership-based grocery store, and all you have to do is choose all of your favorites and they deliver it to your door. I always find the lowest prices of everything that I want on Thrive Market's website and app. And if you do find any lower prices elsewhere, Thrive Market will always price match. I always stock up on their Rosy dishwasher detergent. These really get the job done, especially for our carnivore greasy plates. They come in little pods. You just put a pod into your dishwasher and your plates come out squeaky clean and shiny. I also love stocking up on their laundry detergent powder. This is also by the Rosy brand, which is Thrive Market's very own line of non-toxic household supplies. And this one I always get in lavender because I just love the scent. All of their Rosy line products have zero harsh chemicals, zero synthetic fragrances, and are great for sensitive skin. What I love about Thrive Market is their app, specifically because you can filter out certain diets like the vegan diet, vegetarian diet, and just select a ketogenic diet. So when I select ketogenic diet and filter whatever shows up, I do see a lot of carnivore friendly snacks, foods, ingredients, and just staples that I can easily order and try out. Shipping is always free for orders over $49. If you would like to check out Thrive Market, you can all get 30% off your first box plus a free gift worth up to $60 if you go to the URL shown on the screen, thrivemarket.com/steakandbuttergal. I've also linked them down below. I'm going to just put a photo of me as an overlay, but I'll put it in the chat so we can all see it. I put this on Instagram like 2 days ago. Left side is me on a vegan diet. The right side is me on a carnivore diet. But it's not just that simple where it's, oh, I'm only eating white rice, veg, fruit versus eating butter, steak, and eggs. It absolutely is because I also implemented some very, very life-changing habits. The biggest one is I surround myself with people I want to be like. Richelle and Raymond are two top people that I intentionally surround myself with because they inspire me. Richelle is somebody that I literally want to be like. And so this is the power of community. I will say right now, there's no way I could be at this spot where I am fighting for my life to eat as much as possible so that I don't lose weight, because I gave this lifestyle a 100% all-in try for 6 years. You can't do that on your own. You know, you really do need some type of accountability, support, coaching.
I think so.
Whatever route you choose, you just can't do it alone. I just really want to give both of you guys a shout out because you dedicate pretty much all the time that you have besides spending it with your family and friends to SBG. Maybe talk about what stands out to you teaching priming, teaching carnivore since you've been in SBG. And I'll start with you, Richelle.
I love this question. Coming to the SBG was a game changer for me. When I started my carnivore journey, it was just my husband and myself back in October 2022. I didn't realize that there was a community or a need for community when I came to carnivore until I started to struggle, until the disordered eating tried to come back at me and be like, shh, you need carbs, your period's coming up. I was like, I need help. And I was by myself. My husband was working long hours. We had just moved to a new country. I was just at home a lot by myself. I had time to research things, but I just knew I needed community. So I found Bella on YouTube. I came across her Instagram channel. I started looking at her recipes and I was like, you know what? I want to buy into this person. Like there's just something about her, just the way that she presents herself, her healing that she's gone through. I need to know more about this. And I saw that she had a community. I thought, you know what? $30 is really a modest investment for what you get in the community. And I say that as someone who's been in the community for over 2 years now. It's amazing what I learned in just that first initial month. It inspired me so deeply that I actually changed my coaching program from being a trauma coach to being a trauma and carnivore coach, because I just loved seeing how much it was helping people mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. I loved the community, the support, the way people were just loving on one another and just wanting to encourage each other. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. You can go into that chat box and say, I'm feeling like I'm struggling. I'm having having cravings and I don't know what to do. I'm feeling lost and I don't know where to start. There is always somebody online. There is always somebody who's willing to respond to you. Raymond and I and the other moderators and members of our team, they're amazing. They're amazing. We all come together as a collective and a collaborative, all from different walks of life. And we just want to pour our love into you, into seeing you heal, into seeing you overcome whatever it is that you're struggling with, because we know what it's like to live in chronic pain. We know what it's like to want something so bad. Like I wanted to have a baby so bad. If anything, I would say that the community, above all else, not only does it support us and nourish us communally, but it also gives us hope. One of my favorite calls is the NSV call, the non-scale victory call that we host once a week. Hearing the victories that people have off of the scale keeps me inspired. Like it blows my mind every single week hearing what people are overcoming. So I could talk about this forever because I just love this community so much, but it has been such a blessing to me to see all of the changes in every person that has come through that door, what they learn, what they take away, what they're healing, what they're overcoming. It's just amazing.
Community actually really matters very, very much to me for my journey. So before I started out on my own with no one else until Dr. Baker had his Rivero, I kept on going off on because I didn't have anybody to support. I didn't have a doctor to tell me, hey, this is a good idea to do. Instead, I got the opposite. I got you're going to kill yourself. There's no way you can keep this up. This is not sustainable. All of those negative thoughts. And of course, from my family and friends, I got that same thing. When I went into Rivero back then, and I just started listening in because I used to the way I got motivation was I used to go on every YouTube that I could find, every forum that I could find, and people would just tell their stories on those forums. A lot of them were like, almost hard to believe because they were too good to be true. Then when I got into the community, I started hearing this same story from people. So then I started coaching people, and then I started hearing these stories from them following what I told them. Hey, this is how you do certain things. These are the tricks to get you a little further, a little quicker. And I started seeing miraculous stories. You don't know how many stories that I saw of people who couldn't walk before walked. To me, I'm like, wow, this is miraculous. And I saw it before my eyes.
Yeah.
I saw people going from diabetes to not diabetes, and that's constant healing, some kind of damage that they had to go for surgery and didn't have to anymore. Amazing stuff that I got to see. But I want to say, when I got into the steak and butter gang, which was the best part, I can tell you one of my biggest stories, and it was one of my biggest wishes, actually. I was like, because, there was one day I watched my 600-pound life. I'm sure you guys are aware of that show, right?
Yep.
And I was like thinking to myself, wow, what if one of those people could try carnivore? I wonder what would happen. And I was hoping and praying that one will see it. I don't know. It just happenstance, and Lindy comes on. Limitless Lindy, if you guys don't know about her, definitely look her up. That was the most amazing story. And I remember first talking to her because she hired us as a coach. I didn't think that carnivore would do that good, right? She started off with breaking the scale. So her scale, I think, could go up to 775. So I just said, oh, she's around 800 pounds. And now she's down to 300 pounds, lost all of her wants and needs. And you can ask her this herself for any carbs or junk. And it just started healing her. I had a hard time believing when she did that right in front of our eyes, where she lost 300 pounds in 3 months.
Yeah.
I was like, that can't be possible. There were a lot of people that was even doubting that. If I didn't see it, I'd be like, no way that happened. But she showed her face. We saw all of these progress. We saw her change. And she's an incredible woman now. Now she's able to go around, fly. She's able to drive around her car. All of these things I was taking for her granted. The thing is, I thought I had it bad, and we all have our challenges. But when seeing her, I could not understand what she was going through. And I could relate to most people, but I couldn't with her. Because I was like, I don't know what it's like not be able to leave home. This gave me another level of hope. And also, it gave me a level of why I'm doing this. stories like Lindy, stories like Todd, and stories of all these people that said they can walk again, to be able to achieve our best level of health that we can in this lifetime.
Both of what Richelle and Raymond are saying, I think what they always circle back to is the gratitude to see others walk it in front of their eyes, to see others heal, and also the power of connection, I would say. So to wrap up, Richelle, final thoughts, do share where people can find you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share about the Steak and Butter Gang, and just this is where my heart is, seeing each and every person overcoming their biggest hurdles and finding their whys that make them cry. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube, all under at Real Life Carnivore. I also have a website, reallifecarnivore.com. And I have a ton of recipes on there. I have been a little slow to post some of my recipes recently, but if you check out my Instagram, it is chock full of recipes. And I'm actually working on a little book series to help people with carnivore pregnancy, with postpartum, with breastfeeding, and baby-led weaning. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a little while before that comes out, but that is a project that I am working on behind the scenes.
I can be found over at the Steak and Butter Gang, and I do want to reiterate what Bella said about the community. It is such a handy place just to be. Around this time of the year, for some reason, I've seen people just go, Thanksgiving, the holidays, all of that. And I've seen them come back, and they know they feel worse. They can't seem to do it on their own. And usually the second or third time around, they actually stick around. What's important is no matter what you choose, whether it's a community you choose or a coach, consistency is going to be key. It's not getting off the diet, getting back on the diet, doing a reset once a year. What's going to keep us consistent, at least what keeps me consistent, is knowing people like Bella. Hey, I know she's still eating this way. Knowing people like Richelle, I know she's eating this way. I have a group of other people doing it with me, and we can all relate. And because of that, that sticks me here. Best way to get in touch with me is through Steak and Butter Gang. I coach every Monday and Tuesday. It's a 3-month cycle. So once there, it gets you at least strong enough carnivore to say, hey, I know what it feels like, and I want to stay this way. Or you can say, hey, this is a good reset, or whatever you want your journey to be. So this is where you can find me.
Thank you all so much for watching the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this inspiring conversation. I know I surely did. If you guys would like to learn more about the priming protocol, or if you guys would like to get the community support to help you guys stay on track, just go to the URL shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com. We can't wait to see you in there. Finally, before I wrap up, I just wanted to share something that I have been incorporating in my daily routine every single night for deep sleep and great energy in the morning. And that is just simply wearing blue blockers. These blue blockers are my favorite. It is the Magnum design from Bon Charge, and I wear these every single evening the moment it starts getting dark, especially if I have to be in front of blue light, like my laptop, my phone, my TV. This would make such a great holiday gift or a New Year's present for family, friends, and coworkers. I also do love their biohacking products, like their infrared light sauna blanket, which is great for those who are working out, just want that relaxation, reap all the benefits of red light therapy, and not get too much muscle soreness the next day. You just plug it in, choose the setting you want, lay in it, let it wrap 360 degrees around you, and just enjoy the benefits and relax. If you guys are interested in Bon Charge biohacking products and these blue light blocking classes, you can take advantage of shopping through them. You can also use my discount code SBGAL for 15% off your order. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and I will see you in my next one. SBG out.